Good, good. Yeah, I voted. Yeah. I'm feeling it. We always. Come on. Yeah.
All right, good evening, good evening. Okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. There's a determination of a quorum, but we can go by post to say that you're here, starting with post one.
Post 1 present.
Mark Mariano's post 2 present. Ryan Smith, post 3 present.
Kay Nunez, post 4 present.
Bub Jordan, post 5 present.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6 present.
Okay, we have a determination of a quorum. We will now move to our 30 seconds moment of silence, starting now. We'll now move to our pledge. But before we start our pledge, if there are any citizens' comments, please turn them in, because once citizens' comments start, we will not take any more citizens' comments. Thank you. All right, we will now start citizens' comments. I can give a few minutes if there are anyone who hasn't turned in citizens' comments. If not, we will start our citizens' comments, but before we start, we ask that all citizens' comments cards be submitted in advance. We will not accept any additional comments once citizens' comments period has begun. Please also review the rules of the quorum. Citizens' comments are limited to 3 minutes. To be included in the official record, each comment card must include your name and address. You can say name and address on file, but if your name and address is not on the comment card, it would not be included in the citizens' comments. Okay. Oh, and please speak into the microphone.
I'm going to, of course, talk about where I live, James B. Rivers. I want to today, I know that to really, really fix JBR is a multi-million-dollar project. I know that the street between the businesses has got to be completely dug up and all of the infrastructure underneath has got to be redone. Which is one reason tractor trailers should not be going down that road, which once this bridge opens, they're gonna start barreling through again. But in the meantime, I want to say, I've been asking for something to be done on JBR for 6 years. I've gone through just this third mayor, completely different council than when I started talking, and nothing has been done, nothing. There was a traffic study done, it wasn't done in the right spots, and nothing ever came of it. And it was during COVID, so it was low. But anyway, I just want to say, please make an alternate plan in the meantime to strike the road. Just properly strike it. It's a 25-mile-per-hour road with passing lanes. Nowhere do you see a 35 or 45-mile-per-hour zone with passing lanes. And we're 25, and we have passing lanes right in front of my house. And get the signs that light up and tell people how fast they're going. I'm saying this because I know you guys, nobody's probably going to believe me, but I've been paying I'm very obsessed. I'm really a nerd about what's happening with the war. People think we're not going to run out of gas. It's not going to be rationed. It is going to be rationed this summer because it's going to run the 4th. Demand is going to peak, and our strategic oil reserves are going to get low in the entire world. They're going down because they've been keeping the prices artificially low. That's gonna affect every single thing, diesel, everything that goes on in the city is gonna be affected by it. I know it's hard to believe, even if it were to reopen today, it'll take 6 months to clear the mines to get things moving again. And we have not prepared like we should have, our country. But also, I just want to say, I don't want to be told next year, well, we don't have the funds. Just please, just those two things, the lights that tell people how fast they're going and the striping, if you can just make an alternate plan and put money aside for that. I have seen every other street in the city get paid except for JBR. It's like, we're gonna get to it, we're gonna do it next year. You know, one of the previous city managers, 2 managers before this one, called me at home when she left and said, we've got you scheduled. I just want you to know that. No, but you know, it was diverted to another road. And the Rockdale neighborhood, I mean, these people that never even come here. And I got people to show up and speak on the street. I got petitions signed like I was supposed to, and nothing was ever done. So just, you know, just please keep that in mind, that things are going to get way worse before they get better. And I just really would like for some minimum thing to be done there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Aline Smith.
Eileen Smith, Bella Creek Park Boulevard. The city loves to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a plan that never gets implemented. You guys have an agenda item tonight to do that again. So let's go through the history. About 5 or 6 years ago, the DEA paid $100,000 for a plan called Mimosa and Maine, which the city never found the money to implement. 2 years ago, the city paid $200,000 for an LCI study to create paths and walkability in the city that was never implemented because we didn't have the money. 18 months ago, we paid $108,000 for a lawn design, which we're going to change, and I get why we need to change it. But we're going to pay $250,000 for a lawn design, and we don't know where we're going to get the money to implement. We throw around SPLOST money and ARPA money to buy these properties and to do these designs like it's free money, and it's not. We're spending this money and we don't have the money, or we don't have a prioritized list of plans to implement in the city. You guys had 3 retreats to talk about a prioritized list. You still haven't come up with one. I haven't seen one that says what project is priority number 1. I don't know what it is. So you're going to vote tonight. You're going to spend $250,000 on another plan that's going to take a year, and then what? Thank you.
Thank you.
Nope.
Okay. Thank you for all the citizens' comments. We'll now move to the review of the journal. Consideration of an action on the request to approve May 5th, 2026 meeting minutes requested by City Clerk, Assistant City Clerk.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I am requesting consideration to approve the May 26 meeting minutes.
I move to approve the May 5th, 2026 meeting minutes.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Start on post 1.
Yes.
No. Discussion. Any discussion? Post 1.
No discussion.
Post 2.
No discussion from me either.
Post 3, 4. Okay. All right. So there's a motion and a second. There's no discussion. We'll call for the vote. Start on post 1.
Yes.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes. Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4.
Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post 6, yes.
That is a unanimous vote for the consideration of an action on the request to approve the May 5th, 2026 meeting minutes. Thank you. All right, we'll move to the reading of communications. Item one, April 2026 Employee of the Month.
Each month we're using an opportunity during the council meetings to recognize our employees. And
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I would like to congratulate Aisha Gordon on behalf of the Court Services Department as our Employee of the Month. Aisha's strong work ethic, eagerness to learn, and positive spirit make her a truly valuable member of our team. She is coachable. I don't know, I'm emotional about it. She's coachable, flexible, and always willing to step in whenever needed, bringing dedication and grace to every challenge. We are proud to celebrate Aisha and are grateful for the excellence, teamwork, and heart she brings to Court Services each day.
Well. Congratulations. Where's the family? Oh, yeah, take bring your family here. Sit down with the picture with her. Yeah.
Congratulations again. All right, we have public safety employee recognition.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I am honored to be before you today to give off an award. Just to let you know that on an everyday basis, officers must make split-second decisions under pressure while maintaining discipline, accuracy, and composure. One of the most critical components of that responsibility is firearms proficiency. Behind every qualification score is countless hours of training, focus, repetition, and commitment to mastering the fundamentals of officer safety and public protection. This evening, we proudly recognize Officer Tyler David as a recipient of our 2026 Top Shot Award. The Top Shot Award is presented to the officer who demonstrates exceptional marksmanship and achieves the highest level of firearms proficiency during departmental qualifications and training exercise through the year. On behalf of the City of Stormont Police Department, congratulations to Officer Tyler David on being the 2026 Top Shot Award recipient.
Good one. Congratulations. Congratulations.
I'm extremely happy to be here again before you in reference to a key collaboration that's happening within our city. Recognition that is deserved for both teams, the City of Stonewall Police Department and the DeKalb County Fire Department, Engine 11 coming together to actually help preserve and save a life. At this time, I'm happy they were able to make it. It's really hard to get them to come in because they work so hard, 24 hours a day. But it's a great respect and professional pride that I formally commend our Officer Brianna Reed, for her exemplary performance during a critical medical emergency on May the 4th, 2026. Upon arrival at the scene, Officer Reed encountered a 49-year-old male, later identified as an unknown person, I'm not gonna give his name, and cardiac arrest. She demonstrated exceptional situational awareness and adherence to life-saving protocols. And Officer Reed immediately initiated cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR. Through her swift decisions and skilled intervention, the subject was breathing successfully, and she restored him to breathing upon arrival of additional medical personnel. That medical personnel was the DeKalb County Fire and Rescue 11, whose personnel arrived on scene and assumed medical care, continuing advanced life-saving measures. These individuals consist of Captain Matthew Bush, firefighter Logan Campbell, firefighter Dakota Pickford, and firefighter Logan Jones. Upon taking over patient care, Narcan was administered intravenously, and oxygen was provided to the subject, who subsequently regained full consciousness. The coordination, response, professionalism, and life-saving actions demonstrated by the personnel involved were critical to a successful outcome of this incident. Their actions exemplify the highest standards of service, courage under pressure, technical proficiency, and unwavering commitment to the preservation of life. This incident stands as a powerful reminder of the importance of rapid response, continuous training, and seamlessly interagency coordination during medical emergency. I want to thank them for all their hard work and for saving this person's life.
Back up. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, sir. That's too low. I will get that, bro. Wow. Don't know about me. Alright.
And congratulations. No.
Hey, I said.
We have one more. Stay on standby. I just want to make sure you understand something, over the past 9 months, somebody has been through a lot for us. And the city of Stone Mountain proudly extends their heartfelt congratulations to the city manager, Maggie Demos, of her successful completion of the Certified Public Manager CPM program through the University of Georgia. Completing this intense 9-month executive development program is a significant professional achievement that reflects Ms. Demos' continued dedication and leadership and excellence, organizational effectiveness, and public service to the city. The CPM program is widely respected for its rigorous curriculum designed to strengthen and develop high-level public sector leaders through advanced management training, strategic leadership development, and practical government application. Throughout the program, she was a participant in many challenges through comprehensive coursework focused on public administration, strategic planning, ethics in government, budgeting, and financial management, organizational leadership, human resource, policy implementation, communication strategies, and operational problem solving with complex governmental environments. The program also requires attendees to complete collaborative projects, case studies, organizational assessments, and real-world leadership exercises that demand innovation, accountability, adaptability, and critical thinking. In addition to the academic rigor, the program requires participants to balance the demands of full-time leadership responsibilities while committing to continuous professional growth over the course of 9 months. Successfully completing the CPM program demonstrates a high level of discipline, resilience, and commitment to excellence in public administration. The City of Stone Mountain is proud to recognize the outstanding accomplishments and look forward to the continued impacts that Ms. Demos' enhancement of knowledge, leadership insight, and professional expertise will bring to the organization and the community we proudly serve. Please join us in congratulating City Manager Maggie Demos on her exceptional achievement. Thank you, Mayor and Council. You may be seated.
Well, congratulations to everyone. Huge accomplishments, and thank you for your work and service with the city of Stone Mountain. We will now move to the adoption of the agenda of the day.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, we want to add a few items to the agenda, please. So if we could start over and.
Would you have to amend the motion?
Let's make a motion to amend the motion, please. So we're all in agreement?
There's a motion and a second to amend the motion. Do you need to go over the amendment of the motion?
Yes.
Go over the. Correct. Amend the motion to add. Yes. All right, so you're making a motion to amend the motion with what items?
Move to adopt the agenda of the day to add the following items that were unintentionally omitted from the agenda due to personnel changes. Under new ordinances and resolutions, item number 5, an ordinance for 977 Main Street Special Use Permit. Add item 6, an ordinance for 944 Rockborough Road rezoning. Item number 7, an ordinance for 944 Rock Bridge Road conditional use permit for a nail salon. Item 8, an ordinance for 944 Rock Bridge Road conditional use permit for a laundromat.
It's 544 Rockbridge Road and 977 Main Street, and these would all be first reading ordinances.
Thank you.
So there was an amended motion. Is there a second on the amended motion? So there's a motion and a second on the amended motion. Any discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion, we'll call for the vote, starting with post 1.
Yes.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes. Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Katie, yes.
Of Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Bond, post 6, yes.
Okay,
To amend it, now you have to take a substantive vote of actually amending the agenda.
okay. So now we will take a,
To amend the motion.
that was to amend the motion. So now we need, so now we, all right. So now we need a motion on to approve the amended agenda. So is there a motion to approve the amended agenda? All right, so there's a motion to approve the amended agenda. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, if there's no further discussion, we'll call for the vote, starting with post 1.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes. Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Katie, yes.
Post 5, yes.
Elaine Bond, post 6, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote to approve the amended agenda, adding new ordinance 5, 6, 7, and 8, 977 Main Street, 544 Rock Bridge, rezoning, 544 Rock Bridge conditional use, and
5444.
5444, 5 and 3 fours, Rock Bridge, 5444 conditional use, and 5444 conditional use for a laundromat. Okay, all right, we'll move forward to our committee discussion items. We have Stone Mountain Community Gardens. I think we can get through it today.
Okay. Columbus Brown, the chair of the Community Garden Committee, as well as the site leader of the Community Garden. I think that what here is pretty clear. But I would like to add a couple items. One, that the picnic bench that we've been asking for over a year, finally been, I want to thank Mike for following up on things, and things are beginning to come off the list that's been there for a long time. Encourage that to continue to happen. Also, I wanted to mention that we have we're gonna have a lunch commemorating the 50th anniversary of Stone Community Garden. Partners and folks will be contributing to that. Group that we just and invite all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Okay, there are no questions. Thank you so much. We will move forward to the next item on the committee, discussion items, planning commission.
Mayor and council, the reports for the planning commission and also HPC have been included in your agenda packets. Would you mind if we move forward? State report. I'm not going to do it on the screen now. I have a person.
Can we get a consensus from the council? That's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
State Downtown Development Authority. We're very happy to share the previous projects that have been started in 2025. Commercial ground programs and also enhancement ground programs related to the German restaurant and Black Old restaurant. They've been successfully completed and property owners have been reimbursed for the costs related to the German restaurant improvements and also Black Old. In addition, also the DDA at the beginning of February has approved a commercial grant for 955 Main Street. Again, in the amount of 25,000, related to electricity plugging and other door repairs. In April 2026, the DDA approved additional grant funding for the front porch, that restaurant. There were two requests that have been approved, the commercial grant for $10,000 and enhancement grant for $10,000. We're very excited, again, DDA showing the support for the local businesses by providing incentives to help support their ongoing projects. Other initiatives that the Downtown Development Authority has been overseeing related to branding, marketing, and of course, placemaking. So something important for us, for the DDA, was to consider moving forward with the mural project of South Vista or murals. Here we go to page number 18 on the agenda, please. DDA have decided to announce the finalists with the charity committee lab. This is also the same artist as the previous mural aspect. We have received over 15 proposals from different artists, and all of them are very, very beautiful. However, we heard the community and their voice. We want a mural to represent Stone Mountain, downtown, a part of our community. And give us a second, you want to see on the monitor, otherwise page 18, when you will attend the package, you will see the final strategy. You will send the final the dinosaur, this is just yeah, so the mural that will take place on Pizza. And you can see on the background, not just the mountain, but also you can see the different next week. Yep, and the track, and our children representing diversity to show the future of Stone Mountain, holding together and looking into the future. And final update on behalf of the Downtown Development Authority, the DDA continues to support local events and community activities through downtown Stone Mountain. So during the March 2026 meeting, the DDA approved support for the Tools by the Tracks initiative. As you are aware, Tools by the Tracks have been held on property owned by Alvin Brewery. We're trying to activate the area between Main Street, Second Street, and that corridor. Very great initiative, Tools by the Tracks, federal. This Friday is going to be another conference. This is the report that I have on behalf of the DDA. Thank you.
Any questions on the DDA report, starting with post 1? Post 2?
No, thank you.
Post 3?
No, none for me, thank you.
Post 4? Post 5? Post 6? We'll now move to our staff report, starting with public safety. Police Chief James Westerfield.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I'm here to present you with the statistics for April for not only code enforcement, but also the police department. Just a few updates before. There is one more commendation that is being given out tonight, Major Parks. We're waiting on the citizen that we're going to honor to show us something to do. We'll try to get that to you as soon as possible. The update on Officer Small over in Mount Jordan, he's doing well. We appreciate communication back for making sure he's okay. So for activities, shift activities for April 1st to April 30th, 2026, we had a total of 126 calls, 12 arrests, 259 citations, 213 warning citations, 1 DUI, Three of these, this would be BGCSAs, that's the arrest for drugs. And then we had 43 parking citations. And we had 126 incident reports, 9 domestic and 13 accident reports. Our crime statistics for 2026, which consists of NIBRS Group A crimes, formerly known as FBI Part 1 crimes, and simple assaults and frauds, which are NIBRS Group B crimes. NIBRS stands for National Incident Based Reporting System. For April, we had 0 homicides, 0 rape, 0 attempted rape, 0 robberies. We did have 2 aggravated assaults. We had 3 simple assaults and batteries. We had 1 burglary forced entry. We had 0 burglary non-forced entry. We had 7 larceny, 1 fraud, and 0 motor vehicle thefts. So to identify a few of those, with the 6 entering autos that we had were all in the West Mountain area between 5100 West Mountain Street and 5159 West Mountain Street. They were all non-forced entry, and nothing major was taken. No items were taken from most of it, and maybe a speaker was taken from one of them. The burglary was in the Pepperwood area. Unknown specific time. Some appliances were stolen from a vacant home. The theft by taking for an auto, it was an attempt overnight. They left damage to the vehicle, to the steering column that was in the Rockboro area. Now, our 2 aggravated assaults. One happened at 722 Stonehill Court. The other one happened at 5332 Zachary Drive, where they had several rounds fired into the residence. No, there were no injuries and no suspects at this time. So those are my statistics for the police department. But for code enforcement, as you can see, we had building numbering visible from the street. There's 1, 6 inoperable vehicles prohibited. 1 animals keeping off small domestic animals or whatever. Animals noise disturbance 1, application permit required 1, working without a permit 2, exterior premises requirements 5, erosion stagnant water prohibited 1, trailer recreational vehicle parking restrictions 13, structure maintenance required 1, interior structure, interior services 1, weeds, grass over other vegetation 13, miscellaneous code enforcement will be 3. It's a total of 49. That was for the new cases. Citations that were issued, we had 3 working without permits issued, short item rentals, occupancy restrictions 1, and property manager required 1. So that's a total of 5. Nuisance abatement hearing was set for June 4th, 2026 on properties located at 806 Ridge Avenue due to overgrowth, dumping, and obstruction of stormwater flow. Then we have a letter of intent to pursue blight option sent to the owner of 935 Main Street. That should do it for our police stats and our code enforcement stats. I'm ready to entertain any questions at this time.
Any questions, starting with post 1?
I have no questions. No
Post 3?
questions, Chief.
Post 4? Post 5?
Citizen brought up JBR. What are the truck restrictions on JBR, if any?
You said truck trafficking regulations?
Yes.
So throughout the entire city, we have truck traffic regulations, but we are constantly working, right? I believe Mr. Helton with Public Works is working with the cab, trying to make sure we get the proper signage in the locations to where we can enforce truck traffic regulations. As of right now, for most locations that we have our signage, it's already too late for anyone to turn around before they see. But by the time they see the city, and then there's no place for them to turn around. So we're trying to get our signage placed outside of the city in the DeKalb County area, so therefore they can see it before they get in. So therefore we can try and enforce it more. But as of right now, we enforce traffic regulations throughout the entire city. If you don't have inside the city, we check your manifesto. And once we do that, we'll know for sure if you were fully in the city.
I was on JBR today and the speed is pretty fast. What have we taken, steps have we taken to slow it down?
So in the past, we've had DOT come through, they did ride with Sergeant Floyd, and they also worked with the last Public Works Director. And during that, they considered that a location where we can run laser on JP River Memorial Drive. That was one, so we do write citations there. We are known in the city for that to be a speed trap because of the hill crest itself. If you don't hit the brakes, it's going to automatically bring you over 25 miles per hour. And that's the thing that they came up with. But also because of the hill crest, there's no room for any type of traffic control device. So as of right now, we just got to go off of what DOT says, where we have to monitor it with laser LiDAR.
I didn't quite follow. You say you can or cannot run radar?
We can, but that's pretty much the only thing that we can do there. Other than that, they label it as 25 miles per hour. It's a hill crest. There's no location for any type of traffic control, no signage, no lighting, or anything like that. Maybe we can re-look into it, get traffic engineers to come out and look at it now since the bridge is raised, but still, you should have these traffic trucks into the city. Usually they come in, sometimes they hit the bridge, sometimes they turn off. So we do issue citations when that does that.
I know there was a shooting up in Texaco a couple weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
Seems like our walls are closing in. Is there any, without divulging anything, is there any coordination with the CAB or Commissioner Johnson to help us out on our city limits?
Well, that's something I can contact Commissioner Johnson's office about to talk about, but myself, Chief Patriot, and Marshall Richardson with the CAB Marshal's Department, we have sat down and we talked about specific things. We're trying to get together with the Sheriff's Department to try and see what we can do working on borders, but it's not only our borders we have to work with, so we still have to work with the borders of Clarkston, Lithonia, Pine Lake, City of Avondale. So it's something that we have to come up with so we can come up with some kind of schedule. The summertime is starting, so the main thing they're trying to do is make sure that we're working on trying to keep the traffic, keep the crime down everywhere within the DeKalb County. They're very short staffed as of right now. We're trying to get staffed up. So as far as our borders itself, we have to be at their big if they are able to assist in kind of way. Sometimes the nation is available, sometimes not. They do work in that area, but they also work on the Covington Highway, Redan, South Harrison. So there's a lot for them to cover, and usually they're short staffed and have calls pending. So it just depends on the higher priority. So what we can do right now is continue to talk about, try to figure out some type of scheduling, but all other agencies are pretty much at bare minimum.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
06?
No.
Okay. I don't have any comments. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you all.
All right, thank you. We'll move to the city manager's report.
We'd like to formally recognize and acknowledge the Public Services Recognition Week, which is usually observed between May 3rd and 9th. Public Services Recognition Week serves as an opportunity to celebrate and also recognize the dedicated individuals who serve in our areas of government and also public service. The city extends its appreciation and gratitude to all employees and public service professionals for their continued commitment, hard work, and also service to the community. Next page, please. We will see some statistics from the city clerk's office on the number of licenses that has been issued and the different initiatives that Mayor, City Clerk, Isabella, attended for the previous month. For human resources, next page, please. Again, we're celebrating the new staff members that have joined the city of Stone Mountain. This is Mr. Paul Wright, the position of Stormwater Administrator, Mr. Eric Harvey, Public Works Supervisor, and then Ms. Nakia Burton, Deputy City Clerk. I would also like to congratulate Ms. Shavella Hayes, that the city clerk, received, successfully completed her human resource administration certificate program through the Georgia Municipal Association, which is very important and provided further understanding of human resource administration and what practices and utilization management. Next page, please. We'll be focusing on public works department and the different initiatives that they had during the previous month. Public works coordinated, and joined forces to complete and, I apologize. Public works, joined forces to complete, the project related to the outdoor gym, which now has been successfully complete, so the public can, go and enjoy the beautiful, outdoor activities in Montgomery Park. Public works also coordinated with the National Fitness Campaign and National Artificial Installation Committee to accomplish the process for restoration and reopening of the fitness court in Montgomery. Public works team also continued, steps forward to restoring the GMC, building for future city office spaces. This project is related with the opening of future museum and also visitor center. Public works also continue the process of removal of city furniture, which now has been GMC, building. We did not include a particular update for the museum, but I'm very happy to share that we are very close for finalizing and wrapping up the museum project for the museum, which probably next week it will be complete, so we can move forward with the actual opening installation of different items. Public works also performed repairs to the big structure next to the depot, so there is, boards for the depot. And also the team has handled 12 tickets within the city platform. People have been using it, reporting different tickets and issues. Stormwater system repairs and also toilet class and pedestrian crossing signs. Capital projects, the new city hall parking lot, of course, has been completed, and we are moving forward with reversing the vendor for the provider service point. We're holding on the materials next point or project area or start the public works warehouse. Street paving and paving are moving forward with paving of Kushner. This is also on the way. We did provide an update for fitness, novel gym repairs, and JBL Memorial Reports. The next page is very interesting, focusing on communication, and wonderful work from Ms. Smith, Brianna Smith, for the very short period of time that the lady has joined the city of Stone Mountain. I'm very happy that the number of followers in Stone Mountain social media has increased. Now the people are not following the page and checking on the page, but these are official people like, and now every single day they're checking on all the news space for the city. Something important you can see, one of the major events last week was during the Economic Development Week, and instead of basically downloading light bulb next month. Why is this important? Because through the 14 platforms we were able to see that the video that Ms. Brianna did and shared on social media, over 17,000 people, 17,000 times, people actually have clicked and saw that particular video, which is also a way to support our local business so people are aware of. And we'll finish with one page that includes pictures and a summary of events that elected officials and city staff have attended, the grand opening of the light bulb, the gap state of the city, initiatives narrowing the and attendance with the school, and of course, police department. And I think the format for the stage 31 is actually the tunnel for moved by the tracks, which I'm about to encourage many to provide further features for the that is the manager's report.
We'll start, of course, starting with post one.
My only questions are, Two things. One, the reference to striping, and refreshing striping on JBR. I know I don't know how big or small of a fix that is, but I think that's a reasonable, thing to consider. Also, thank you again so much for, taking some things off the list for the garden. I would like to, hopefully we can continue to at least, find fixes that we're able to, continue on. So that's all I have.
Post
So,
three.
so I would just like to report, driving by the fitness, facility on Sunday morning, about 11 o'clock. There were about, at least 40 people there. There was people, having a great time. I just want everybody to understand what a positive influence it's made to the city. Thank you.
Post four.
I actually have a couple. I want to piggyback that because on Sunday I actually went out and rode the golf cart around and hit 3 parks. And it was so fun to see Leela Mason having a lot of activity with softball out there. And then we had young men out there shooting hoops on the basketball court. So it's always exciting to see the parks utilized. I also went by McCurdy and there was at least 50 people there. The gentleman that organizes that reaches out to youth, and I don't think he lives in the city, but he brings them into the city. My only question is the public bathrooms were not open. So when we have activities in these parks, do we have a plan that those bathrooms are open for use, or do they have to permit the use of the park to have utilization of the bathrooms?
I need to coordinate, with Mr. Health and the Public Works Department, the stormwater project.
Yeah, because they were using both sides. There was boxing going on, doing push-ups and a little bit of dancing. I mean, it was exciting to see it. And then at McCurdy, actually, it was family picnic going on over there. So I just want to make sure that we make sure our parks are open and the bathrooms are utilized. The other question I have is on Second Street here, and we talked about lights, of course, for me, the parking on Second Street. Will that be addressed after the street lights are, go up?
Public Works or Chief of Police is be able to provide the feedback, starting for the on-site part.
Yeah, well, on the side of the street, yeah, because once that lot opens up, that entry exit is on Second Street, and we talked about painting the curbs red to minimize the parking on this side of the road, and we haven't touched base on that on any of these reports. I just want to know where we are on that. The additional comment really is, thank you so much for your hard work, Mike, and your team. I do notice the things that I report on ClickFix are getting done, so I really do appreciate that. I know, the grand opening of Live Oak, I was doing tutorials at the bar with our residents on how to use ClickFix. So I'd love for us to come up with some other way to make sure. I know that last time around there was a postcard that had the QR codes. But I think we have to keep hitting that and educating people on how to use that. It'll help improve the appearances of our city, and it'll also help the process of completing jobs that you guys know that need to be done. So thank you for your work. That's all I have, Maggie.
Post five.
Couple questions. Maybe for Mike, does the stormwater filing status and current standing make any difference to anything in what is our standing? Stormwater filing status and standing with the environmental protection.
If I may. Our staff is still looking for documents. EPD is working with us. The soil and water conservation are also. We are not finding
Continued contract management work involving crowd. Polite way of saying doing their job. How many man hours did y'all spend doing their job?
Well, you all caught the heat. And when you all catch it, we're already catching it. We already felt it some. You just turn it up more, for lack of better words. But we were noticing, and they were having a contract difference as to whether they were responsible for certain things. We proved they were. They've taken that over now. We did clean out certain things, but we wanted to go ahead and show the action. We knew they were supposed to do it, and they verified. So far, they've been pretty on the spot. Since we came to that agreement, we showed them the contract, with the water, with the contract part. But since then, they've been doing that.
And maybe GMC building, I've seen it replaced with a parking deck, I've seen it as a parking lot, and I've seen it standing as a building. And I see where we're doing electrical work, AC work. What have we determined the use of that building is going to be? And if it's up in the air, why are we spending money on it?
Absolutely. I remember council having discussions and after they attend for the past several years, our public works employees did not have proper office space. They've been positioned in the warehouse, and the warehouse is not in a good condition. You've been into this facility, this building, and only has the partial like restroom, but no proper showers or kitchen or amenities. Temporarily, city staff, and actually I have decided, and I made you aware that I would like temporarily to position our public works employees within the flexibility, kitchen that is available, and also the bathroom, so this will be their office space. For the past 1 or 2 years, the GMC building has been sitting empty. We're going to discuss to be part of the loan project, but sir, until we involve the development advisor and until I have personally moving forward, investor developer with the loan on Main, right now, I don't have any feedback. If we'll be moving forward with the GMC building being used as parking lot, or maybe co-working space for businesses, or this will be the permanent space for public works. So temporarily right now, without making the budget, yes, the GMC building is supposed to have some electricity, right? And also, HVAC.
Do you have a ballpark figure how much we're putting into it? Or
I
how
think
much?
the HVAC, so the HVAC, the reason we're pushing forward for the HVAC system is because if you remember, we received a grant for $112,000. 86,000 we have spent for repairing the HVAC at City Hall. The remaining funds are eligible to be used for another project from the city building. I believe the remaining funds are about 24,000, which partially should be enough. I mean, why do you want to give back these funds right now to the organization? We better spend a little bit like $10,000 or $20,000, a little bit more, so we can get an HVAC for the gym building.
Because I know there are other options maybe with public works in the future, but I'm just concerned that we spend too much money and then we pay it down.
Very, very minimal. In case, and this is also a possible scenario, there is an opportunity for the city to use it. Between this year and next year, public works will remain with the gyms.
On the communications page, you say we're launching a new website June 1st. Is that still on track?
Yes. At some point, we need to launch the website, and I'm sure as much as we're getting ready, there might be a moment that, hey, we need to revise the page. We need more information.
But you still see June 1st as the launch? Thank you.
06.
city manager. Am I correct to say that we're going to be using the GMC building right now for public works?
So the current intent is temporary until council decides what the future or final use of the GMC will be. Temporarily, we decided to provide some office space for works and a kitchen and a space that they can have for business. Otherwise, they're using the warehouse, which is a, yeah. I appreciate your understanding.
Yes, thank you, that's it.
All right. And just to follow up on that, I know some of the offices were in the Depot Museum, which is now being turned into a museum. So I think some of the transition involves moving some of those offices out of the depot to Public Works. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Council. Right. So, I'm here, to bring recognition and honor, we're recognizing two citizens out of Richmond subdivision, in regards to an incident where, on February 11th, within the Richmond subdivision, Ms. Carnegie and Ms. Gale observed a young mother who was visibly, distorted. She was, just out of disoriented. And due to the dangers of the cold weather, it was 31 degrees, she had two small children with her. And she didn't have any shoes on, the kids didn't have any coats on. So the citizens there, they stepped in, they provided shoes for the mother, they gave blankets, for the children, and they also provided food. Ms. Gale, she got a blanket for the baby, fixed the bottle and fed the baby. The baby actually fell asleep in her hands. Officer Davenport and Officer Trisha Charles Harris, they responded to the scene and observed the mother in distress. So they called 911 and they came out. They came out. The officers went over and beyond the call of duty. They had to use her cell phone, her face recognition, and couldn't tell us anything about herself, who she was, she didn't know the date, nothing. So we were able, Officer Trisha was able to use her face recognition, go through the phone and find her mother. Her mother did respond and did tell us that she was, they was aware of the medical emergency. Officer Trisha Harris went further to the house just to make sure that it wasn't a domestic situation. The house was very tidy and clean. So the city of Stone Mountain just want to recognize and honor again City Attorney and Ms. Pamola Gale just for their extraordinary compassion they showed for a fellow human being. They went over and beyond the call of duty, and the officers worked well with them. Again, their quick response, unwavering commitment to helping others in a time of need. Their action brought comfort, dignity, and safety to that family during that crisis situation. We also want to applaud Officer Boyd and Officer Harris for their professionalism and passion they also showed during that incident. So if they'll come up here, Ms. Boyd.
Thank you all for helping us. Thank you.
Again, thank you all for your help with our community. All right, we'll move to council policy discussion topics. There are none. So next we'll move to unfinished business, consideration and selection of finalists, development advisory services for the Lawn on Main project.
Three finalists, the staff have determined after we the article with the deadline April 30th, after city staff had evaluated the proposals, and after city staff had listed CDR in the 4 PM as the potential finalists for the project along with me. And today, we're at the point, at the moment that, maybe for the community, but also would like to provide council with an opportunity for further discussion. What is your impression from hearing from the three finalists? Their proposals, the way they presented, their strategy, and then have a discussion before council, choose the finalists for the law May. If I may, and before we start any further discussion, which will have the opportunity in a minute, very, very quickly, I'm about to go very briefly over the three finalists and their expertise, past performance, and also approaches strategy to remind council. Very briefly, as far as the private partnership, 4 PM, and their experience with the past projects, it was very clear that the company provided a strong Georgia-focused municipal experience with downtown development, city facilities, and also public-private projects. CDRE, there is they have extensive and clearly documented experience leading other municipal redevelopment projects, including downtown mixed-use sites, hotels, city spaces, and also parks. Strong southeast and also Georgia-specific experiences included development projects in Gwinnett County, but also in other areas, Dorchester County, Boca Raton, and Penn Beach, Hollywood, Florida. Several examples directly were comparable to the Lawn on Main project, with publicly owned land, and also they have included downtown development projects, which their initiatives, and again, very good experience with civic space and also private development. And as far as JLL and their experience in past performance, JLL has demonstrated deep national experience advising public entities on destination tourism, hospitality, central development, relevant examples involving hotels, and also public facilities, downtown development, very, very strong destination advisory recommendations aligned with the Lawn on Main and tourism goals. That was the first section of past experience and past performance of the three companies. And as far as the approach and strategy, as a reminder, for PM, they have demonstrated clear and also disciplined execution-focused approach with financial validation and also risk mitigation. CDRE have demonstrated within their proposal and also presentation clearly articulated step-by-step advisory approach from feasibility to solicitation. Very strong focus on strategies related with the city, during the vision of the community, and JLL, they are highly structured phase strategy with explicit city decision making, very strong emphasis on vision testing before procurement market validation. With that being said, the three finalists or potential finalists that the city brought to the council meeting and they had the opportunity to present to council, each one of them have demonstrated that they have the right team members and connections that they can help execute the project forward. Each one of them has demonstrated that knowledge and the experience of the similar process, and they provided a time frame how long it will take until the dashboard subordinate. Well, we would like to hear from council any final thoughts.
So before we start discussion, I think it could be helpful if, as we go post by post, you guys can kind of probably rank, you know, your number one, your second, and your third, maybe to try to build consensus amongst, you know, maybe who the finalists will be. But also, I think it's a great time for us to have some discussion on each group if we choose to do so. I think it's fair to probably do 2 rounds of discussion, just so, you know, we can hear from each council person as we move forward, and just so we have a little structure to this. Is that okay with council? Okay, so we'll start with post 1 again. Rank probably your 1, 2, and 3, and then a little bit of discussion. If you care to have some, it's not required.
Not too much for Ann, but I think they all brought a lot of experience to the table. But definitely, when you're thinking about this type of project, you really want to have someone that doesn't have to go outside to contract other entities, but there's the ability to have everything that you need in-house, its volume, and also the reputation of what they've done throughout the city.
Post 2.
I would rank them similarly. JLL for me is a far and beyond number 1, CBRE, and then 4 PM. JLL for me has the reach available, but also was able to understand the scale of our city and the need. I feel like they understood the assignment the best. And there was also, I know that they know this city well, because even one of the architects has already worked with DDA and has done studies on the downtown area. So I know that they'll be able to get the job done. The only other thing that I have to say is just a comment about one of the public comments is, because they're right. In the past, we've done studies and things of that nature, and we've done nothing with them. I think it's really important that when we make this decision, we execute. We have to execute. It's not just about following through, but it's about securing a good future and progress for our city. So this is not just an exercise. We have to be serious about this. That's all.
Post 3.
So I looked at the 3 and listened to them as most of us in the room did, and I thought that JLL was far above the rest of them. I felt that they understood the requirements that our small city has and needs, and we don't need to develop something that is a waste of money or not something that would be beneficial to the city. As again, what our goal is to make it to the point that we can get a revenue from that particular piece of property and offset the tax base that the existing residents have. So LL is my first, CBRE would be second, and 4M would be just like the other 2 councilmen's judged. Thank you.
Post 4.
All right, well, I have to, same consensus, JLL really spoke to me. It looks like they understood the assignment, they understood the city, which I think really hit me pretty hard in their presentation. I actually disagree about CBRE over 4 PM. I like 4 PM better. CBRE was a big company and a whole lot of money. So I think on the presentations that JLL led the pack on that, I have to agree that with Councilman Smith, that the whole idea of acquiring this property, we do end with Mariano's. That when we acquire this property, there's been so much debate about what we do with it, but it does have to generate revenue. And something on that side of the city, on that side of the street, will regenerate activity on this opposite side of the street. So I think that we have to keep in mind what we develop out there has to bring people and money to help generate activity and growth opposite side of the street.
Thank you. Post 5.
I have the same ranking, JL, CBRE, and 4PM. One was too big, one was too small, one was just right. 4PM said 2/3 of their crew was here, that's too small. Yeah, so JLL, in my view, I'm still not quite clear on the scope of work. We haven't, and maybe they're gonna help us finalize our plans, our design plans, what we want. And I'm just wondering two things, do we need to get further along in our first visions of the piece of property and get more specific? And do we need to have other things in place before we start the contract? Now, JL, I was looking at in the proposal, $250,000 for 8 months. We already know it's not gonna be 8 months. So again, that's where I know the contract will outline a scope of work before it's approved, but and I was not privy to the RFP, and I tried to look it up on the website and couldn't find it.
Councilmember Jordan, the following questions that you had were related to the scope of work, and JLL has listed the scope of work under the proposed budget by phases. So you're absolutely correct. They did not phrase this as our scope of work will be work on architecture study. They have listed it in a different way, but section 6 of their proposal includes the proposed budget phases, where they're targeting to do market analysis and feasibility, working on the market outreach, working on the proposals evaluation, and finally they work up the situation. I can forward this documentation to the council that particular paragraph from JLL, so it's clear for everybody exactly what is the intent and scope of work for JLL. As far as the site plans are, based on my experience in economic development and also overseeing, kind of looking at different cities and their approach with development projects. My suggestion will be, council already have approved the site plan, which is the very, very basic vision for the long remain. At this point, we would like to see for this component, for this phase, and also the plus part, and we would like to see a mixed-use building, and JLL will help us find investors in the area, developers, maybe for a hotel, maybe for another use in another building, or mixed use, whatever the future use of the building will be, this will be communicated to council, and also it depends on the type of development and type. Because right now, sir, if we go another step further, council starts to finalize the type of building, the number of floors, number of rooms, and the scope of work for the building. You're about to literally box yourself and box the city that, I mean, this is the intent, and this is what council would like to see, this people would like to see, this people would like to develop this project, absolutely. But the intent is, we don't know how involved the city will be in this project. Either we're going to be developing for this space, and then the investor will cover the use of the, will cover the portion for using the building component, or maybe social developer. There's so many potential deals right now that need to be considered. So preparing another site plan for the site plan currently may not going to be the best road approach right now. Let us onboard the development advisor, let us work, let's see actually the investors and developers of the future between the city of Stone Mountain and how much they would like to invest and what that approach will be. And then you can consider if you would like the city to take over this project or development. So,
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I think part of the design process is figuring out what we see in that lot as far as parking, because we have to build this thing and we have no parking for it. So that might be one of the most important parts of the design asset or aspect before we engage them to seek.
and here's my feedback on the Genesee building. It really depends what the project will be and how the new site plan will look like. Here is a scenario. If right now we decide to go with a hotel, and the developer, the investor would like actually to put the parking lot underneath, then we will no longer consider the GMC building for a parking lot. Or if the developer would like, okay, I need additional spacing, different type, different engineer in mind, it depends, and it depends when the development advisor, prepares the RFP for this project and start promoting the project, as a broker, promoting the project to potential investors and developers. We'll have proposals the city will receive, and then we'll go further with the discussion. Should we consider James being part of this project?
Post 6.
Before the developers came in, I had no knowledge of none. But I listened, I took notes, and my main concern was whatever is placed on that lawn, it needs to make sure that it's going to support the downtown as well as your young and your old. I personally don't want something just for our youth to be on the lawn, but I want something that our seniors can enjoy as well. What really struck me, I don't really have a preference of any, but what really struck me was JLL, where they said that whatever ideal that we create, it must have a sense of place, and I like that. So, going back over my notes, that's the main thing that I did take in. I know, and I agree with all the other council members, we do need to bring some type of revenue in, but which should be number one. But at the same time, you still want your citizens here to also have a place to enjoy. So the others I took notes, they wasn't real pretty. But JLL, that really stood out for me as far as things that I have in mind that I would like to see going forward for the future of this city.
Post 6. Thank you so much. A few notes. I kind of agree with the remainder of the rest of council with JLL, CBRE, and 4 p.m. Just want to bring to everybody's attention that process that they're going to go through would be really helpful to the community. I think previous councils and the community participated in kind of public engagement to get us to a conceptual. I think this is taking it to the next level of actual, here's where it's going to be, where it's going to sit. And one good thing that I heard is that they're going to do a feasibility. So they're going to test whatever we decide to put there to make sure it fits the sense of place for the community, it fits the architecture, but as well as it fits the economic driver for the community. Another good thing about this project, when we looked at the numbers during our retreat, if the city were to take on this project and fund it themselves, to put a mixed-use building there and a green space, it was around $31 million. So going through this process, we're allowing the private sector to come in and make that investment for the community. And a lot of the companies, especially JLL, mentioned like, look, we don't want you guys to have to bond if that's not the option. I'm not saying we don't get there, but they were trying to say, look, let's figure out what the private sector can bring to this project. So, I mean, if you look at it like this, by us owning this piece of property and by working with a development advisor, it puts us in a situation where the private sector can help us get the civic spaces that we need, the sense of place that we need, and the economic drivers that we need. When we met with the city of Monroe, and they got to do the feasibility on the hotel, but the hotel added $500,000 to their tax base. So when we start looking at, the revenues coming into the city, and I think our collection on property taxes was around $3.4 million. 45% of our budget is relied on the penny sales tax. You know, so we're only in property taxes and commercial taxes. I mean, we're bringing in 50% of the revenue. So I think the good thing about this, you know, there is a small investment on the front end, but the long-term benefits to the community, I think, outweigh the investment on the front end. So as we're making our decision, I think it's a really good opportunity for the city to finally take a project to the next level and do like other cities like Avondale and Decatur are doing. Avondale had a public-private partnership when, I mean, they did their green space and their retail. So, you know, I was talking to somebody the other day and they just said the city of Stone Mountain just keeps missing it. The ball keeps moving and all the other cities are growing and we are just kind of stuck in the same place. So, you know, you'll see a lot of that, and I'm sorry if I'm over talking my 2 minutes, but you'll see a lot of that in the comp plan. Our population stayed flat, our housing numbers stayed flat, meaning our economy stayed flat. If we continue on that rate in which we're going, especially with an aging population, we will be in a decline. And then we'll be forced to kind of cut and subsidize services. So I think this is a really good project. I'm with the council on JLL. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. I will ask the council now, do you guys feel like we need to do another round of discussion? And if so, we'll do a quick round of discussion going by post. Post 1.
I did have one thing. The blocking in the space plan did include GMC in the original project. So I expected there to be at least a level of addressing that portion, whether it is or is not going to be a parking lot, or if we utilize it for something else. Some kind of a suggestion. I think that was in the RFP for them to consider. So I think it should be a part of their proposals. Thank you.
Post 3, any additional comments?
I don't have any additional comments. Thank you.
I can remember on the timeline on his presentation is we're looking at probably a year before there's really any.
Well, some of the feedback about presentation was it depends on the council, how the council will move in the decision. Well, something also I need to bring to the attention of the development advisors, but number 1, we did our homework by asking the community what they would like to see about the development of the state's name, so already do this. We already have the site plan, right? And already know that we would like someone to do the food station, and we would like to activate space. And the space will be active 7 days per week, 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. So moving forward, I'll make sure that the development advisor, we're not gonna go back to state number 1 as the community roundtable discussion. And some of the, I don't remember which company was, they had stated it will be a 2-year process, and we need to walk you through the process. We've done this homework for the past year. Right now, we're at the point that the development advisor is on board, very good discussions, so they understand again the intent and the scope of work, and start working on the RFPs, we can start promoting the site for future development. As far as this stuff, we're ready to push this, and this is our priority project. I wish I can say that by the end of this year or beginning of next year, because we're really pushing right now on the development. We've been doing this for the past 2 years, and everyone the development takes time. But probably a year, like, particularly before the end of this year, I would like to see personally the RFP being released and us not negotiating, but evaluating proposals from different investors.
Great. Thank you. Sure. Because people will be anxious to know.
Oh, okay.
So, thank you.
Post 5.
Just to confirm and so that the public knows, this funding for this consultation comes from the 2 million IGA. Is that correct?
The small IGA services.
Eligible and we will use it as such.
Yes, there will be a small IGA.
Anything else for post 6? Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. So we had discussion. I think we can move to a motion to pick the finalists.
I move to approve JLL as, for Development Advisory Services for the Lawn on Main project.
All right, there's a motion and a second. I don't think we need any more discussion. We'll call for the vote, start on post one.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post three, yes.
Kay Nunez, post four, yes.
Bub Jordan, post five, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post six, yes.
Okay, that is a unanimous vote for the consideration and selection of JLL as a finalist for Development Advisory Services for the Lawn on Main. Okay, all right, we'll move forward to new business. Consideration of an action on the request to enter into an agreement with the Cobb County Visitors Bureau requested by City Manager Maggie DeMond.
He brought to your attention that the city of Stone Mountain previously maintained a contracted partnership with the DeKalb County Visitor Bureau to collaborate in social media outreach and also targeted marketing initiatives for design from all the city as a tourist destination. So currently, we have updated the agreement that has been used for the previous years, and staff would like council to consider the approval of the amended agreement regarding the allocation of the hotel and motel tax revenue between the city and also the visitor bureau. So if you look at the contribution in general for the hotel and motel tax, the city currently collects 5% hotel and motel tax rate. And with the city, in the proposed agreement, the city would like to retain the first 3%, which are equal to 60% of the total money collected for general government purposes. And also the remaining 2% of the 5% collected is 2% are equal to 40% of the total amount collected. This 40% will go as allocation to the visitor bureau for the tourism promotion and purposes. Tourism promotion purposes stands for all the special events that we have, for initiatives, for the museum and the visitor center, writing the articles, selling social media. And a step for the city will be staffed internally to come up with a plan and actually the scope of work, how we like the city to be promoted through the visitor bureau. But let's go back on the question about the allocation. Based on the current unaudited revenue from the 2025 hotel and motel tax collections, the money that has been received, was in the amount of $53,837. Under the proposed allocation, the estimate for the visitor center visitor bureau portion will be approximately $13,535, which is representing 40% of the collected hotel motel tax for 2025. In general, and I don't need to overwhelm you, in general, there were two options. Either the city of Stone Mountain for 2026, each month to be allocating 40% of the hotel motel tax collected to the visitor bureau for each month in 2026. But it's time consuming, it is overwhelming to city staff. Instead, we're proposing from the collected hotel motel tax in 2025, we're proposing that 60% of these money will stay for the city and 40% will be given to the visitor center. So now the strategy is the contributions from the previous year used in the current year. Please let me know if I have confusion and if I have any questions. No, thank you.
Have any questions starting with post one? Post two?
I don't have any questions.
Post three?
I don't have any questions either, I understand.
Post four? Post five?
No question.
Post six?
No.
Okay, is there a motion?
Okay.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. There was no discussion. We'll call for the vote, starting with post one.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post three, yes.
Kay Nunez, post four, yes.
Bub Jordan, post five, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post six, yes.
That's a unanimous vote to approve the agreement with the DeKalb County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Okay, is there another motion? Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote, starting with post one.
Mark Mariano, post 2, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Katie, yes, post 4, yes.
Bubba Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Bond, post 6, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote to approve the budget amendment for the Visitors Bureau. Okay, all right, we'll move to the next item on our agenda, consideration of an action to request to set the public hearing dates for proposed millage rate. Consideration of an action on the request to set public hearing dates for proposed millage rate.
That's 3 for me.
Three. Did I skip something?
The voting delegates for the Georgia Municipal.
Jumping in, sorry. All right, that's my mistake. All right, consideration of an action on the request to appoint voting delegates for the Georgia Municipal Association annual business meeting to be held on June 28th, 2026 in Savannah. Apologize.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The 2026 annual business meeting of the Georgia Municipal Association will be held on Sunday, June 28, 2026, from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the Governor's Ballroom of the Savannah Convention Center. Agenda items will include adoption of GMA's 2027 legislative policies, election of GMA's 2026 through 2027 officers and board of directors. As a reminder, each member city is entitled to 1 vote at the business meeting. If your city will not be represented at the meeting, you may designate a proxy to vote on your city's behalf. So I'm requesting your consideration to appoint voting delegates for the Georgia Municipal Association annual business meeting to be held on June 28, 2026 in Savannah, Georgia.
Any questions? Post 2, any questions?
I will not be available for this, so I can't. I have it.
Post 3,
I don't have any questions, thank you.
post 4, post 5,
No questions.
post 6. Okay, is there a motion?
Well, is anybody interested in this first and foremost? Or will anybody be there on Sunday too?
I'll be there.
And we can, the mayor's okay to have as a delegate? Is that?
I believe that's staff recommendation, so
Okay, so
there's a staff recommendation of Mayor Pro Tem.
I move to approve, Mayor Linder and Councilmember, Smith.
Yeah.
Newt Smith? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yes, okay, sorry. I was, as the, voting delegates for the Georgia Municipal Association annual business meeting.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a
I
second?
second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We'll call for the vote, start on post 1.
Mark Mariano, post 2, yes.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm
And
fine.
Katie, yes, post 4, yes.
Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Bond, post 6, yes.
Okay, that is a 5 and an abstention. Is that correct? Correct, all right. On approving Mayor Linder and Mayor Pro Tem as the delegates. Thank you. All right, now to item 3. All right, item 3, consideration of an action on the request to set public hearing dates for the proposed millage rate requested by City Clerk Shabala Ames, but City Manager.
So as part of the fiscal year 2026 and 27 budget process, the city must determine how it will proceed with the new state for the upcoming fiscal year. So the purpose of this agenda item is just for council to move the official proposed dates for, public hearings. Because the public hearings will provide the additional stakeholders with the opportunity of input to the comments regarding the city proposal administrative holidays are June 4, June 8, and June 16. Please let me know if you have any questions. Mayor, would your, would you mind making note of the advertising for the future public hearings?
Sure.
I would like to bring to your attention that staff see advertising, advertising, county, social media, the website, and within the advertising, city staff needs to consider a rate. It shouldn't be just a blind advertising, it's just format will have to public hearings about the trade. We need to come up with an example. And the example number that we have picked will be 17.5 mils. So the residential rate is 15.8, but we'll be advertising, and this is just a random number that we have picked of 17.5 because currently we don't know if council would like to move forward with increasing the millage rate. If we would like to increase, we're supposed to advertise the rate that's higher. Because the American Council would like to increase the millage rate to, for example, just an example, 16 mils, but we have advertised 15.9, we cannot increase to 16. That is the reason we're very highly into the advertising as an example number, but I need to bring this to your attention. There is not a staff recommendation on something the council is discussing.
All right. Are there any questions starting with post one?
I have no questions.
So there were gonna be the meetings on those, 3 days. They were gonna be 10 o'clock in the morning and 6:30 in the evening, correct?
Yes.
No. Correct.
We'll have three public hearings, and it will be either 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. Because also we need to confirm form and your availability. But the dates have been recognized as June 4, June 8, and June 6. And for the meeting to determine either 10 a.m. in the morning or 6:30. So.
I just need to make sure we get through everybody. Are you finished? Post
Yes.
three? Post four?
Yeah, and there was only one date on there that I could not attend, so, which was the 4th. Rest of those are fine.
Post five?
No question.
We've got four, June 4th, in the morning, so I think it's gonna be hard to do with June 4th, again.
Thank you. Post six? Post six, any additional questions?
No, but I would definitely like to, know the time frame before these dates arrive.
We
I
already.
know about the 4th.
We already have confirmed that the 4th, the special call meeting will be at 6:30 p.m., then June 8th, either 10 a.m. or 6:30 p.m. And June 16th is already the scheduled city council meeting.
Okay, but you're saying 10 or 6. So if I make plans for 10, and then
So let me help out here. So we've got to have 3 meetings. We could theoretically have a meeting on June 4th, June 8th, and June 16th. We could also have a meeting only on June 8th, both at 10 a.m. and 6, and then on the 16th.
Okay.
So I think what we're trying to get from you guys is what we need to advertise. We need to do it within 30 days of the, I think is it 30 or is it more? I can't remember. But we need to do the advertisement sooner rather than later, and that's why we're asking tonight to come up with dates. So as, city manager noted, we need to know, we need to have a quorum. Everybody doesn't have to be here, but we have to have. Okay. Sorry, Maggie, I was trying to help.
No, absolutely.
I will not be here on the 8th, so, as long as everybody else is here on the 8th, we'll have a quorum. And I guess, it seems, if everybody's okay with 6:30, it seems like 6:30, but it's the evening, most people can get off of work, so, I mean, I think if there's consensus at 6:30, I think we can just nail this down.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, all right, and, Councilman Bass, you had another? Okay, all right, so we asked questions, so now, is there a motion? On the floor?
So I would motion that we have the June, meetings at 6:30 on the 4th, 8th, and 16th.
I second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. We'll call for the vote starting with post one.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Bob Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Bond, post 6, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote for the proposed dates of June 4th, June 8th, June 16th at 6:30 for millage rate. Thank you. All right, now we'll move to the next item, consideration of an action on the request to approve professional consulting services for planning department based on the proposal received from Sumter Consultants.
Last, planning commission also HCC have been canceled, and to the fact that we don't have help in the planning department. With that being said, the first proposal. The Center Consulting have a person ready, and they're proposing, that the person will be here 3 days a week, and then, next 2 days working more with the June, and classes. The month of is $12,000. Again, the person will be providing the same level of service. Like, multiplications, let them know if that recommendation is please consider overall.
We'll start with questions starting with post one.
I don't have any, yeah, I do have one. This person would be here, what would be the hours of operation here?
2 8 hours per day, regular business hours, 3 days, 2 days in person in the office and 2 days working.
Post two.
I think I asked this, but I just wanted to clarify. This is temporary till we find a permanent person, so we'll be actively looking for a permanent person. Yeah.
Yes. I may. Since I have been overseeing the city of Stone Mountain and the different departments, and kind of getting my experience with the community, the number of applications, the number of projects. Currently, already I have been discussed internally with the staff, partially with the elected officials based on the needs of the city. And I would like us to consider and have further discussion if we can merge only development and planning departments. And actually, instead of having 2 separate directors, with 2 people who will assist in the directors in the planning department, we put in one person assisting the city. Simply because with small municipalities, you don't have that many applications all the time, of course, more development, more businesses, amount of work. Yes, we can still keep it, but do we really need to separate positions to salaries to benefits, given the fact that we already have person, and if I may, I do have experience in economic development, and I can always teach this person with knowledge of services for economic development. But this is the new approach, and I was targeting the next council meeting actually to have a discussion on the new roles and kind of structure in the department. But meanwhile, I do need somebody.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And I'm in favor of it. I just want to make sure because I mean, you know, I appreciate Sumter Consulting and what they do for us, you know, in the meantime, but it's a lot. So I'm glad to hear that you have a plan. Thank you.
So my question is if we approve this, can we put a time limit on it, how many weeks we're gonna do this versus just opening it up to, we do it $12,000 a month for how long?
It depends how quick this, for the next council meeting is the first week of June, right? Unless, it's emergency right now, consider new action item and new discussion about approval of, community development director. I think it's that urgent right now until I come up with the job description and recommendation. But, the consulting services will be provided for a month and a half until we have our own employees. $12,000, sir, we're not overspending the budget. Prior to finalizing the fall, we have negotiated from 20,000 to 12,000, which fits the current budget. So with that being said, we're not overspending the budget, literally, we're in the same amount. No difference right now if we're paying planning managers in the summer or through consulting services.
Are you going to consider the temporary person, the contract person for the job?
Oh, sir, it depends, the only feedback right now I have is that the person that's working in the planning manager, which is work for the accountant, the lady has required with some of the consulting, but, I'll be very happy to welcome such a person with knowledge and experience to help us move the planning department further.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if we have an option.
I don't think that there's a restriction in their contract that says that they can or cannot come in. There may be some, but most of them, as far as I know, they do not have such a restriction. So if that person was interested and we can negotiate it, I think it could happen. I don't believe that this type of a position, especially given my knowledge of Sumter, I think it is a possibility, yes.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I definitely think it's probably within like a budget item. If you had an employee on your payroll, by the time you pay the payroll, the matching SSI and benefits, this would definitely be a reasonable rate. So I have no question.
Post 5.
Two questions. Does our choosing of this satisfy the bid process, if any, on this?
Because we only have to get two or three quotes. There's nothing in the purchasing policy that requires any kind of formalized bid process.
Second question is your line item budget for 2026 on this is $29,511. If this goes past 2 months, are we going to be doing a amendment?
Can we go back to which page is sir? 29,000?
26 budget where that line item has professional services and the budgeted amount is $29,511.
Budget amendment at some point will be needed, and here's why. Because currently from the salary and benefits we have been paying for the current employee, we can't use these line items for professional services. So to your point, absolutely, yes. At some point, if we start receiving professional services, we need to do a budget amendment. But we already know that for a certain amount of time, like a month and a half, instead of charging employee salaries and benefits, we'll be actually using that particular line of professional services. Very good question.
06.
No, I have no further discussion. Thank you.
Only comment I would say, it seems like the consensus of the council is to not let this roll into a long-term thing. So, just as long as we can be prudent on trying to recruit kind of who that next planning person would be, I think that's great.
You can, that's the consensus of the council, based on what Vivian said. That's the, not 1 month, that's not gonna be enough, but you want to say 3 months, 4 months to cap it out, I think you could make that kind of a motion.
All right, so we had discussion. I think we can get a motion on the floor.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the professional service agreement for the interim planning director, capping it at 4 months.
A second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, we'll start with post 1.
I need to ask post 1, yes.
Oh, no, discussion. Post 1. Post 2, any discussion?
No discussion for me.
Post 3.
I would think we could do it in less than 4 months. I mean, that's a long time to me for, that's $48,000. I would like for us to reconsider it 2 months.
Post forward. Any, I mean, this is discussion.
Yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine with, I was thinking 90 days, just like you would do with you hired an employee. So, I'm fine if it's 4 months. I mean, we need to make sure that the city's supported in this process and that we make a good hire and not a bad hire. And making a bad hire cost you more than making a good hire.
I mean, I'm thinking with comprehensive plan in the pipeline and everything else, the 4 months gives us a little bit of cushion. I mean, we will have to do like we discussed the budget amendment. But if y'all can do it quick, let's do it quick. The learning curve for learning our city and its codes and its nuances. We need somebody permanent here to treat us right. Thank you.
You are the council. You're part of the council. You are part of the team.
Give them time to be knowledgeable. What we can hear in the city.
Well, that was a motion and a second. We had discussion, so we'll
Real quick.
we'll go one more round, start with post one. Anything else? Yeah.
I just have a quick question.
Post.
Are you comfortable with 3 months? Or are you not comfortable with 3 months?
Two months from now is June, July, August.
3 months from hire.
August
Yes.
19th. August 19th. And we'll be proactive, and on the first council meeting in June, I will be seeking council to approve the new position for community development director, but also to approve salary increase for 2 other positions, not increase, just a final salary increase. Because we're about to discuss the mortgages for the tourism management, which also is the same. That being said, if the job has been promoted for 2 to 3 weeks, and this person needs standard time 2 weeks to resign, this is already a month and a half. But let's keep it to 3 months, and then I'll keep the council updated on the progress of the package.
I want to make sure you're comfortable with that though, because I'm okay with 4 months, but I just want to hear it from you, what you think the reasonable timeline is, because I agree with Councilmember Nunez that we need somebody quality. We don't just want to like rush this, but I also understand the budgetary concerns as well. So I just want to make sure and see where you're comfortable, because if you believe it's 3 months or 4 months, then
The other, she has negotiated a price. If you cap it out and then we've got to go back to Sunford Consulting because you capped this out, I don't know that they're gonna come back with the same amount. So I just want to keep that in perspective as well.
That's my only thing, but I'm okay with moving forward. If anybody else doesn't have anything to say.
Well,
If pricing the number of applications and
So when this temporary person comes in, you're gonna go ahead and present both jobs to them, or is it gonna be, you're gonna start with just the planning?
so the intent is, if we're hiring the community development director, it's always good for the department head to select the employees, right? Versus me being proactive and actually, selecting the, lower positions before we have the department. The intent right now, planning and development, they need planning person. I can still cover the DDA, right? And I can still assist both wages and planning department, I need the community development director, so the director position is the priority.
Post board, anything else?
Just to clarify this is though strictly for the planning, not both. The contract is strictly for a planning manager.
Yes,
temporary.
thank you, yes, only for the planning,
The plan is when you make a hire, that you have the crossover of the two
yes.
positions. I just wanted to clarify that because it was getting muddy here. All right. All right, great, thank you.
Post five, anything else? Good. All right, post six, anything else? Okay, there's a motion and a second, so we'll call for the vote starting with post one.
I need to back post one. Is it in, I want to just add that, I say yes.
It's your motion. It's your motion.
Back post, yes.
Mark Mariano's post two, yes.
Ryan Smith, post three, yes.
Kay Nunez, post four, yes.
Bob Jordan, post five, yes.
Elaine Vaughn, post six, yes.
Okay, that was a unanimous vote to approve the staff allowing professional service agreement with Sumter Local Government Consultant to provide planning director services capped at 4 months. All right, thank you. We'll move forward to the next item on the agenda. Under new ordinance and resolutions, we have ordinance 2026-06. Oh. Order. Ordinance 2026-06, sale of city property amendment requested by Lieutenant Bob Hillis. And to be clear, this is the first read.
Basically, currently, the city ordinance, restricts the sale of city property to sealed bid or public outcry to the highest bidder for cash. I'm sure that was great 50 years ago, but there's certainly other ways to do it now. For instance, we currently have an agreement with Enterprise that they can sell our vehicles for us. In some instances, it's better for us to sell them locally. If they're newer, it's better for Enterprise to sell them for us, because they can get a little bit closer to fair market value. But the city ordinance doesn't necessarily allow that flexibility. So this is just a simple change to the ordinance to add through a contracted vendor as a third option. And also to make sure that there's no problem with when a car is wrecked and it is a total loss, we get a check from the insurance company, which means that technically we're selling it to them. So we want to make sure that there's clarification there to make sure that that is okay. That we can turn that vehicle over to the insurance company without there being an issue in the city ordinance.
All right. Is that everything? Thank you. Any questions on the first read of this ordinance? Starting with post one.
No,
Post two.
No, thank you.
Post three.
No, you outlined everything that changed in that ordinance, which was 3 sentences. Yeah, I'm good with it. Thank you.
Post four.
Yeah, I think the only thing you had is if we can sell it ourselves at this point, you'll probably make more money anyway, like if the city was to sell it.
Well, we do have the option to sell it ourselves. In the past, we've used govdeals.com, which is technically a sealed bid under the ordinance. So that's another way that we've done it in the past. And that is covered under the current ordinance.
Post five.
No.
Post six. All right, thank you so much. All right, that's the first read of ordinance 2026-06, sale of city property amendment. All right, we'll move forward in our agenda to resolution 2026-08, budget amendment, general fund.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, staff is bringing forward what we prepared, which is 3 FY 2025 budget
budget amendments are for the general fund, visitor center, and stormwater fund, which will be reviewed and voted on as 3 separate items. As part of the city's ongoing financial reconciliation efforts, staff has been reviewing historical and current year transactions associated with SLOSS 1, SLOSS 2, ARPA, and Small City IDA funding, which we presented at the last city council meeting. During that review process, certain expenditures originally charged to revenue, special revenue, or capital funding sources were determined to be more appropriately allocated to the general fund based on eligibility, purpose, and governmental accounting standards. Accordingly, portions of the expenditure increases reflected within these amendments are associated with year-end reconciliation adjustments and the proper alignment of expenditures to the appropriate funding sources. This process is intended to improve financial accuracy, strengthen audit readiness, and ensure long-term financial transparency and compliance. And with that, we will begin with our first budget amendment of the evening. The first budget amendment of the evening is for the FY 2025 General Fund Budget Amendment. This is a true-up based on unaudited year-end activity. Revenue overview. The adopted FY 2025 General Fund Budget included projected revenues of $5,986,280. Based on current unaudited year-end activity, actual revenues collected exceeded budget projections by approximately $156,972, bringing the total estimated FY 2025 revenues to approximately $6,143,252. Expenditure overview. Based on current unaudited year-end activity, estimated general fund expenditures increased to approximately $6,659,074. As a result, the FY 2025 general fund requires an estimated $515,822 contribution from fund balance or fund reserves to balance year-end operations. In governmental accounting, fund balance or balance reserves represents accumulated financial positions and is not solely reflective of unrestricted cash immediately available for expenditure. A portion of the expenditure increases reflected in this amendment are attributable to the reclassification of expenditures originally charged to other funding sources and subsequently determined to be more appropriately allocated to the general fund. Several departments completed the FY 2025 year under budget, including Mayor Council, Council Post 1 through 6, General Government, Public Works, Debt Services. Savings within these departments help to offset overages experienced in the following departments: building and grounds, court, public safety, parks, and administration. I do want to remind everyone, and I will at the end of all 3 of these budget amendments, that all figures presented are preliminary and based on current ledger activity and unaudited FY 2025 financial information. Amounts remain subject to audit adjustment, accrual entries, journal entries, and related reclassifications.
Thank you so much. Hopefully everybody understood it, still that. It's pretty, thank you for doing this. We'll start with questions starting in post 1.
I don't have any additional questions. Thank you.
I understand. Thank you.
Post 3.
So, the increase that public safety has, I think it's important to describe what caused that, because they didn't all get new cars and everything else. I mean, there was would you want to explain that better?
Public safety, some of the expenditures were in the area of personal services, but when we looked year over year, there wasn't a big discrepancy year over year. So that was one of the areas. Another area was also in SLOSS 2, which there was no category for public safety, but there were expenses charged to SLOSS 2. So those expenses had to be reclassified to the general.
So that made up the $743,000.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Post 4. Post 5.
You and I met yesterday, we talked some of the numbers out. Going back to public safety, the personal service and benefits was over $488,000. Explain how that happened.
So what I can explain is that these are FY 2025 actual numbers that happen throughout the year. And what it appears is that the budget was not sufficient to meet that, which is why it came in over budget. I don't think there were any significant changes in services or reduction of force or increase of force during that time period. And when we look year over year, if we look at FY 2024, they came in higher than their personal services budget than what was budgeted for salaries for FY 2020.
Just seems like salary and benefits is a known number going forward into each fiscal year.
And we do plan on working very diligently moving forward when we do go into budget prep for FY 2027. We are reviewing FY 2025, and when I say we, through the city manager and with the department heads, we are reviewing FY 2025, looking at current year, which is FY 2026, and taking all of those things into consideration as we move forward to start preparing budget for FY 2027.
What was the capital outlay of public safety of $160,000?
Sure. Most of the capital outlay was outfitting of the vehicles. There were also some, I believe, tasers that were purchased. Those purchases were originally charged to SPLOST 2, and under SPLOST 2, there is no category for public safety, so those classifications needed to be moved back to general.
Last question. The increase in buildings and grounds, can you identify that $95,000?
That was based on purchased and contractual services. So it was mostly for repairs and maintenance and the purchased and contractual services within buildings.
Thank you.
06. Yeah, only comment I would make, and I want to thank our new finance and new city manager and city staff and everybody here who's working diligently to kind of correct some things of the past that were kind of, I guess the ball got dropped a little bit with the previous groups. So I appreciate the diligence on going in and really doing a true audit to the best of your ability. And I know it's not an official audit, but you guys have been doing a lot of hard work to kind of find where things were kind of a little bit not done correctly. So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate your hard work on that, because getting that classification right was very helpful to us. So thank you so much. I think our council understands kind of what's happening here. So really appreciate it. Just, you have to commend people when, pat them on the back when you can. All right. So we had questions. Is there a motion to approve this, or is there a motion on this item? Consideration on the floor is the budget amendment that was just proposed.
So basically, I move to approve the general fund amendment reflecting the departmental expenditure overages offset partially by the revenues exceeding the budget to the appropriation of the correct fund balance.
Let me include the resolution.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote, starting with post 1.
That's post 1, yes.
Mark Regalis, post 2, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Doug Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Barnes, post 6, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote to approve the resolution 2026-08, budget amendment to the general fund. We will now move to resolution 2026-09, budget amendment, visitor center fund.
So, going to review the visitor center fund, FY 2025 budget and throughout. Again, I do want to stress that the general funds fiscal year 2025 throughout based on the FY 2025 adopted visitor center budget projected revenues and expenditures of $171,075, which included a planned general fund interfund transfer in the amount of approximately $127,575, which supplements the visitor center fund, which is funded by hotel motel tax and film permits. However, based on the current unaudited year-end activity and operational review, the full budgeted transfer was not required nor executed in FY 2025. The adopted FY 2025 visitor center budget includes expenditures for the special events manager and special events, coordinated and funded by the city of Stone Mountain. Actual expenditures for FY 2025 were approximately $287. Because the fund is not fully self-supporting, to true up the FY 2025 budget, a necessary contribution from general fund balance, or reserve in the amount of approximately $38,629 is required. The budget amendment before you reflects the actual level financial support required to maintain the visitor center operations based on current unaudited FY 2025 activity. And here's my disclaimer. All figures presented remain preliminary and unaudited and are subject to final audit adjustments, accrual entries, journal entries, and related cash reclassifications.
We'll start with questions with post 1.
I don't have any additional questions. Thank you.
I don't have additional questions.
So my question is, we go through this yearly and sometimes the number is bigger or sometimes the number is smaller. Is there a way for us to get to the point of getting that to the point where we're closer than,
Well, that would be a total overview by mayor and council to look at what kind of expenses come out of this fund. Because the fund is hotel motel taxes and film permits, that alone, the collection of those alone does not allow the fund to carry the special events manager nor the special events themselves, which is why it requires a transfer from general fund, which was budgeted in the general fund. However, that transfer did not happen, and because the expenditures were lower than the budgeted amount, we're only transferring what needs to go in there to true it up.
To explain.
Post 4.
Questions. You've done a great job on your presentation.
Post 5.
No questions.
Post 6. Okay. I don't have any questions either. We've had questions, so is there a motion on the floor?
I make a motion to approve the visitor center amendment align actual revenues, expenditures, and require general fund support for 2025.
A second. Do we need to include the resolution number?
You're gonna redo the motion?
Can we just move to approve the resolution number by itself as presented? So I move to approve resolution 2026-09 as presented.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote, starting with post 1.
Need a back? Post 1, yes.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes.
Ryan Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Nunez, post 4, yes.
Doug Jordan, post 5, yes.
Elaine Barnes, post 6, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote to approve the resolution 2026-09 budget amendment, visitor center fund. We'll move forward to resolution 2026-010, budget amendment, stormwater.
The stormwater fund is a standalone enterprise type operational fund established to account for stormwater related operations, maintenance, repairs, infrastructure improvement, and regulatory compliance activities. Primary revenues supporting the fund are derived from stormwater fees, service charge, and related collections associated with stormwater operations. As we move towards the revenue overview, the FY 2025 adopted stormwater fund budget anticipated revenues of approximately $103,000. Based on current unaudited year-end activity, actual stormwater fee collections and related revenues exceeded budget projections. During FY 2025, the city incurred increased stormwater-related operational and maintenance expenditures associated with ongoing system needs, repairs, contracted services, equipment rentals, and professional engineering-related activities. As a result, the actual expenditures exceeded the originally adopted budget. To support these eligible stormwater operations and capital-related activities, the amended budget includes an estimated use of stormwater fund balance reserves. So that is separate from the general fund balance or fund reserves in the amount of approximately $58,642. Unlike the general fund, the stormwater fund is dedicated and a restricted operating fund intended specifically for stormwater-related activities and infrastructure costs. Use of available stormwater fund balance for eligible operations, maintenance, repairs, and capital-related expenditures is an allowable and common governmental budgeting practice when necessary to address operational or infrastructure needs. All figures remain preliminary and are based on current unaudited FY 2025 numbers and activity and remain subject to audit adjustments, accrual entries, journal entries, and related tax reclassifications. And I'll be happy to
Start with questions with post one, sorry.
Yeah, I have a question. I know when you are looking at a budget going forward, looking at some of these adjustments, it'll help us really do a better job at projection. Because we can see the issues that the budget need to be here versus there. So I think getting as close as we can will help us make a better decision on how to make that increase without having to come back, making these additional amendments and changes. So this is good to have as well. And we know the projection sometimes could be higher.
I have no questions. Thank you.
I have no questions either.
Post four.
No, I don't have any additional questions, but I imagine this is one that the city deals with on a regular basis, right? With stormwater issues. So I am wondering, will the implementation of software help with some of this, as far as the accounting processes of ledgering it correctly to where we may possibly have less budget amendments, so we project our budget better?
So to answer that question, I don't think software will help with that, but it will help with bringing the reporting out, being able to pull, historical data in an accurate manner. Right now, I'm having to, the budget reports that come out, unfortunately, come out in a PDF format, and I'm having to take that and put it into Excel, which sometimes when I'm taking it out of the file from PDF to Excel, there's a chance of losing some of the information and for mistakes to be made. And so there's a lot of double and triple checking of the numbers. So software implementation would be very helpful and advantageous, especially for us to be able to track, to look at historical data, to true up these budget amendments, fix assets, just a whole host of things, yes.
Post five. Can you explain the stormwater fund, how it relates to the stormwater SPLOST, where we have $500,000?
So the stormwater SPLOST is for capital projects related to stormwater. The stormwater fees going to the stormwater fund are more designated for maintenance. While there is a capital component, it's also the repairs and maintenance portion of it, which SPLOST does not.
loss covers just capital.
Correct, capital,
No repairs and maintenance.
not average repairs and maintenance.
Okay, thank you. Again, I want to thank you for the transparency that you're bringing to our accounting. I know this has been a huge concern for our constituents across the board, and so this is really helpful and very digestible for us and hopefully for all of our constituents. So thank you so much. All right, so we've had questions. We'll now, if there's a motion, does someone make a motion?
I move to approve resolution 2026-10 as presented.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote, starting with post one.
Did Bass post one? Yes.
Mark Mariano's post 2, yes.
Brian Smith, post 3, yes.
Kay Munoz, post 4, yes.
Bud Jordan, post 5, yes.
Lang Gong, post 6, yes.
Okay, that's a unanimous vote to approve the resolution 2026-010 budget amendment stormwater fund. We'll move forward to our agenda. I'm gonna let our Mayor Pro Tem call out these items because he has the notes.
Yes, item 5 will be ordinance for 977 Main Street special use permit.
So this item was presented to the planning commission on April 20th. The advertising and posting of the property has occurred. However, due to personnel changes, this item was not included on the agenda initially. Because this is the first time that you guys are actually seeing this ordinance, this is just first read. It is advertised for a public hearing at the next meeting, June 2nd. So we can have our public meeting on June 2nd. We can have our second read on the same meeting, or we can have our second read in the second meeting of June. But for tonight's purposes, it is just first read. Happy to answer any questions as best I can. I am literally just looking at the planning commission agenda packet and meeting minutes. Obviously was not there, and I'm not sure I will be able to answer any hard questions. Maybe be able to answer easy. But this specifically is for a micro distillery and an accompanying smoke shop. The staff recommendation to the planning commission was to approve the micro distillery and to deny the smoke shop. I'm not sure if our applicant is here.
He is.
Okay, so, he may be able to answer questions if you guys have questions this evening. It's a little unusual because this is first read, but again, I think there was some hiccups because of personnel issues. Since he is here, if you have specific questions, I would suggest that perhaps we ask him those questions this evening so that you can consider at the public hearing additional comments. And if I need any direction from you as to a revision of the ordinance for the second read, we can discuss this as well.
We can ask the applicant questions, but since this is first read, I don't know how comfortable council feels about even addressing anything on this right now because it's first read and we haven't had a chance to review it. If he doesn't mind, coming back, I believe council hasn't had a chance to read the ordinance at all.
Yeah, I want to be fair to the applicant too.
Sure. Correct.
Consider what's in front of us.
So, I will go with the will of council and we can start with post one on kind of how they feel on the consensus. But if everybody's comfortable with just calling this first read and then addressing this at the next meeting once we have a chance to review the ordinance. I think it's most fair to the council and to the public and the applicant. Okay, post one.
I agree.
I agree.
Post.
I just want to make sure that we get approval for the applicant. And I want to make sure he doesn't have any concerns on the process that we might be able to accommodate.
So I can't, I we can't ask anyone to prejudge an approval, we're just at the first read, so I think we can discuss if there's a specific issue that needs to be discussed, we can do that this evening, but, in terms of trying to get approval tonight would be the right.
I didn't mean the word approval. I meant as far as I just trying to get it to the point where he doesn't have to come back and forth. Not just him, all people that are trying to do this, we can streamline the process.
Agreed. Again, I think part of the issue was personnel, and I think with the new consultant, I do believe we will have some streamlining of the process for sure. Just in my small amount of time that I have reviewed just these items, there's a lot that can be done to streamline the process, yes.
Point of order before we go to post four. So in the public hearing, does council have a chance to discuss with the applicant, or we just hearing public hearing, but we also will have it on our agenda at our next meeting to kind of discuss more with the applicant, correct?
Yeah, so at the public hearing, we certainly can ask questions of the applicant. It's almost always here, and at that point, we answer any questions. I am hopeful by the June meeting, we will have someone else here who can answer it from staff perspective. I realized this meeting this last night for the first time myself, so I'm really not in a position to get into the meat of this, but at the public hearing, we can.
And not to interrupt, I just want to make sure council is clear. Post four.
Just for him to kind of give us a perimeter, an idea of like what his business, his vision of his business, or no?
Sure, if you want to,
I mean, he's here, so I think it'd just be a great opportunity to hear.
Yeah, if it's the will of the council, I'm totally fine with that.
tonight's not the night, the only night to ask questions, given that you were given the ordinance. I think the expectation just needs to be set that whatever questions you have this evening, there may be more likely there will be more in the next year. And
Just like a quick read, we have a denial and approval by the commission.
I don't know what the planning commission, I would need to pull the draft minutes, which I literally got, not that. That's what I put in the ordinance, but I didn't know at the time. This is first, I do not know what planning commission determined without, finding those draft minutes. The city clerk got those to me late this afternoon. So I do not know what the vote was. I can try and find that, if that's your question.
Reading of something that's not approved.
So, just if it matters clear, so first read, just like we do any other ordinance, we have to go through a process. So there's a first, a second read, and at the second read, we can vote. This process, we're doing our first read, we'll have a public hearing at our next meeting and the second read. So we can technically vote on this application at our next meeting. For just transparency and clarity of council, if we just received this ordinance now, I can't tell you all what to do. It's the will of the council, but I don't think on any of these first reads, we're equipped to make a decision or even have appropriate discussion. But it is the will of the council on how you all want to move forward.
That's all.
Okay, 06.
I would like to get a chance to read over it. And possibly I will have some questions, but I'd like to get a chance to read over this before any decision.
Certainly, and I think, from staff perspective, we will be in a better position to present better than tonight, but again, because it was advertised, because we do need to have two reads, we didn't want to waste this meeting, and again, to have the efficiency, that's why we wanted to go ahead and add it on, but this is to have the first read, to let you put it on your radar, so to speak. And hopefully at the next, everyone will be prepared to ask questions and answer.
Thank you. I'll be better prepared in June.
Okay. Since it's the first read, no action needs to be taken, and I'll let Mayor Pro Tem read out the next item.
Item 6 is an ordinance for 9444 Rock Ridge Road to rezone from residential to commercial.
So this piece of property has an interesting history. We brought a nuisance action in municipal court. It's been a while, and we shepherded this property back from what was in horrible state to what it currently is. In the meantime, we learned that the property is actually zoned single-family residential. Even though it had been used in the past as commercial, it was in fact, it is zoned, as best we can tell from the zoning map, and according to the tax commissioner, is zoned R1. Obviously, if you've driven by there and you've seen it, it's not single-family residence. So the first item of business would be to basically align the actual use of the property with the correct zoning. So, it would be to move it from R1 single-family residential to GC general commercial. That's what the rezoning request is. And I don't know if we have our property owner yet here. Again, this is first reading, but if there's any questions, I am a little bit more familiar with this one, having dealt with it in municipal court on use tax. But it's questions for the will to talk with the owner, or we can do the same thing and everyone be better prepared in June to ask and answer questions.
Same process, same story. I do want to make sure it's clear that for the applicants, this does not delay your application. So the schedule in which you're on is the same schedule. Hence the reason is first reading today. I know that could be a big concern. This is not a delay of application. This actually keeps your application on track. So we'll start with questions if there are any, or if there's a consensus to call this a first read, and we will address it at the next meeting. I will post one, we can just see if there's a consensus.
Definitely, I agree with postponing it so we can have the time to read it and revisit it at our next meeting.
I'd also like to read through it. I would also, I want to see us get our zoning issues fixed.
Post 5. Post 6. Okay. All right, thank you. So again, first reading, no action needs to be taken. We'll move to the next item, Mayor Pro Tem.
Item 7, an ordinance for 5444 Rock Ridge Road, conditional use permit for a nail salon.
So on this one, rezoning would have to happen first, and then assuming the rezoning is passed, then a conditional use can be added for use of the property for a nail salon. And the next one is the laundromat, it's the same. This is a conditional use, not a special use, which means that, it doesn't follow the property. It has a lifespan, staying with the owner. And so, our zoning ordinance does not address nail salons. That's why it has to be a conditional use. It doesn't address specifically laundromat. That's why it would have to be, conditional use. Same with the laundromat. So both this ordinance and the next ordinance would depend on the decision of council regarding the rezoning. But again, it definitely would be staff's recommendation to grant the rezoning as that is the actual use of the property.
Any questions?
No.
No questions here.
546. Only question I have, can those run concurrent? I know you're not the planning director, so maybe it's not the right question to ask, but can the rezoning and the conditional use permits run concurrent?
I'm not sure what you mean by concurrent.
Meaning Could everything be approved in one meeting? Meaning, I guess if it's first, the rezoning is first, then you could do the conditional use permits right after it. Yeah, okay. Just want council to be clear. Okay. All right, there's no action to be taken on the first read, and we'll move to, I think this is the last
Yes.
item.
Item 8, an ordinance for 5444 Rock Ridge Road, conditional use permit for a laundromat.
And again, this is staff recommendation will be to grant rezoning as to the conditional uses. I don't have anything to say about that tonight. I'm not familiar enough.
Well, if there's any questions, or post 1, post 2, post 3,
No questions, thank you.
post 4, post 5, post 6. All right, no questions, it's first read, no action needs to be taken. We have remarks of privilege, discussion item, park operations and hours of access requested by Councilmember Howard. Jordan, sorry. I don't know what else you're saying. I was gonna say your pool dad.
Yeah, what's printed there doesn't kind of read what I was asking for. The request was, to address weekend services by Public Works and the daily opening and closing of our parks, green space by Public Works and police, public safety. It's no secret that we are a weekend town, that we are a nightly town where our visitors are coming in and out. During those times, we have a 3-day weekend coming up. I know, talking to a lot of the homeowners near these parks, and to be proactive versus reactive, we need to come up to me with a better way to secure our parks for public safety, for access, for, like Ms. Nunez stated, we have closed bathrooms on the weekend. We have a closed lawn on the weekend, or actually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you look at how our population kind of doubles during the weekend, I think we need to address what we're doing and how we can do it better. Right now, the park hours are 7 a.m. to sunset, if I understand that right. I thought I read the ordinance, it's okay. Now, I know some of the parks are not conducive to closing, so to speak, but some of them are. Mainly that's VFW, the Lawn on Main, and Medlock that have gates that to me can be opened and closed at the proper times, where the bathrooms can be opened. We have this bathroom here on the next to the caboose that is, I think, stays open 24/7. That's seems like it's like a draw for criminal activity or something like that. If you're like me, you've looked at that lawn for 20 years thinking that's sure is a waste of space. And I have those same feelings on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays when it's beautiful outside and we're not using it the way we could be using it. We do have some planned events out there, but they're becoming more few and far between. Like this 3-day weekend, we're gonna have even more people, I believe, visiting our city, and the trash cans are going to be overflowing. I was noticing some of those near the Cherokee Rose. I think that got finally emptied today. No fault of Public Works, but just a matter of timing. So I'm just seeking discussion on how we can use our facilities and secure them for the betterment of our community.
All right, we'll open it up for discussion and questions, starting with post 1.
I think we just need to definitely have a time that we discuss that with Public Works and with our police department and get a better understanding, staffing and all of that, so that we can make a good decision. Obviously, we do want to utilize the space, but also be cognizant of the fact that, do we have enough support? Can we make sure it's covered properly? And do all those things and yet still utilize it? So I think we definitely need to have a meeting of the minds concerning that.
Those two.
I know that, at least with the lawn, the concern of the lawn, that there were some public safety issues with it being open. I don't have a personal problem with it being open during the weekends, things like that. I do think, again, like to reiterate what Councilmember Bass said, I would like to bring Public Works and Public Safety into that to, again, to discuss it, because that's what we did last time. And when it comes to, I think, securing parks and properties, I think that that's one of many like smaller projects that we need to prioritize. And again, going back to public comments, talking about creating lists and having prioritized lists. Councilmember Bass has talked about having a running list that we can all look at. I think that we did come up with priorities in our meetings, but I do think that they can be sort of distilled further down and refined. And I think that can be another consideration, and we can kind of figure out where that fits sort of in our budget with all the other things that need to be fixed in this city. That's all.
Those three.
I'm a little confused. I thought these were remarks of privilege. I thought.
I asked that question to Miss Ames, and she said this is where it belonged, so I had that question myself.
Okay.
Good catch, Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, I mean, I don't think we need to debate his.
Sure.
His,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. My comment on the city in the time that I've been in, I would like for us to get serious on keeping the 18-wheeler trucks out of our city. And I know the reasons why we can't do it, but I would like to see us come up with solutions, serious solutions. If they're going to come through our town, which they don't pay any taxes, they just ruin our roads. I want a way that those people get ticketed. Thank you.
I guess it's a discussion at this point, so we can go forward. If you don't have anything to say, you don't have to.
I am concerned about the same things that Hub has brought up, and I think that, teamwork makes the dream work, and we have got to work together with our departments to make this happen. I know there is a resident right here at the bathroom that complains, has come up here a few times complaining about that park bathroom being open after hours, and it is open. I was out at 10:30 last night and it was unlocked. So, but the bathrooms need to be open during the weekend when there's activity out. The other thing I'd like to emphasize is just the appearance of the city. So maybe come up with a plan of the person that's locking the bathrooms or securing the properties, or also making sure those trash cans downtown are not overflowing, because the one in front of Stoneface Pizza is always overflowing. I mean, it's overflowing on Friday. So, I mean, there's a couple of them, but we could just emphasize the appearance of the city. Stoneface Pizza, Stone Pizza.
We just passed the camping ordinance, the loitering ordinance, so I think that I think that's gonna help us to enforce some of these hours and prior hesitations for opening the lawn. I know that there's been comments about the public works versus police response to this. I think that the call level of public safety allows for public safety to get involved in this during some times. I know it's, at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. we got at least 6 city staffers in the parking lot here, 20 yards from the bathrooms where some things could get done. But yeah, if you want to comment, please, Chief.
Well,
Before we go, I want to make sure.
all right, 4-6.
Very briefly, I want to touch a little bit on the parks. In the past, the restrooms were locked down. People were taking their kids during the day and could not get in the restroom. And I wasn't on council at that time, but it was approved that the bathrooms would be open up at a certain time and close at a certain time. But we must keep in mind, so far I haven't had a problem with the restroom being locked down through the week. If we're in these parks, our police cannot be in the parks 24/7. So we need to take a part in saying, a little activities going on, can you send somebody? But at the meantime, the police department needs to answer too. But I don't want to, and I understand what you're saying, Hub. I'm real passionate about this park, I really am. But I think as citizens, we need to do our part too, instead of just trying to put everything on every department. I see public works a lot. I tease what I'm saying, you're burning up my gas, but I know they're working because they'll leave with an empty truck and come back with bushes. So I know they're working. But I think when we see things going on, instead of bringing it to our meetings, let's try to reach it out to the heads, because I know activity goes on at Little Mason past dark. I know this. Let it get loud. Elaine Barnes calling. And I'm gonna be in my nose, but I'm just saying, we can't lock up all the parks just because people don't want to obey the rules. You're gonna get some that just not gonna obey the rules. But as citizens, let us do our part and reach out. Reach out to the chief, reach out to Mr. Hilton, reach out to whomever.
My only comment, I definitely think this could be a discussion item on the agenda, but I think it needs proper vetting with public safety and public works and city manager to come up with a comprehensive strategy that we can discuss on how we approach that. That's just my only comment to this. I think it's a great item to be brought up. I mean, a lot of people are passionate about it. But I think now that, you know, staff has it, I would like to see a comprehensive strategy put together on, you know, what does weekend service look like? What does, you know, the public safety looks like, but also what does the budget look like for those things and how it's facilitated? So I think council can then really have a real good conversation and figure out a path forward with that information. Yeah. You want to hear from public safety, or is that better for another time?
Let's hear from them.
And I just.
Yeah.
So like I think it can be.
I'd be real brief. Okay, so first of all, I want to let you understand, I was part of the original team that looked into trying to find a way to come up with some type of agreements, but therefore we could have some lawn activity. The lawn is not a park. The lawn is not deemed as a park. It's not a park at all. It's not optional. The lawn is actually gated off, so it can be open and it can be closed. That's one thing. The parks itself, they don't have any gates around. So if you close off entrances and exits, it's going to be hard for any personnel to be able to get in there in case somebody does walk into there, have an emergency or situation or problem. So therefore, that's something that you got to look at. But as far as the original plan for the park, what happened was we only had it part-time, so therefore we can give people time to be able to be in the park for some time, be inside the lawn on Main at the time. But we also recognize that we didn't have proper staffing to make sure we keep clean on the weekends and also have the bathrooms open or clean on the weekends. So therefore, we only put it to during the weekend. economic development, and we didn't want to exhaust the lawn, making sure that the value of it was lower before we were able to develop on that. So therefore, there are so many different conversations, so many different things, we try to find a way to have these. So that's the conversation that you all could have together and be able to give us feedback on how we want to move forward, how you want to look forward. But at the same time, it's going to have budget restrictions well with it. It's going to have public safety on whether we can actually respond inside the park if something's going on or somebody lost that. There's no way we can stop it inside the park if they're on foot or anything like that. So therefore, we do have an ordinance for anybody inside the park after dark that we do enforce. So therefore, I want to make sure you understand the totality of everything. Like I said, I want to be as brief as possible, but that's the conversation you all have. And get into that. Thank you very much. That's great.
Due to time, I don't think we need to do another round of questions. Hopefully, I think this will be something that will rise on our agenda again. Okay, so we'll move forward in our agenda if everybody's okay. We have announcements by the mayor. Only announcements. Congratulations again to city manager on her certified public manager, CPM certification. And that's the only announcement that I really have. I think the next item is executive session to discuss personnel, legal, cybersecurity, and real estate.
So I move to adjourn to executive session to discuss legal issues.
Let's give it.
And then the second, all in favor? 9:30, just a little weak.
Look.
So I move to adjourn the executive session and resume the work session.
Second.
We need to say what items were discussed in the executive session.
In executive session, we discussed one personnel and two legal items. No decisions were made.
Okay, that was a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next we have on our adjournment, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
As a motion second, all in favor or for adjournment?
Yeah, help that part. Please, yeah, please. Might help.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah, public works, yeah. All right, well, we did it. Good job, good job, good job.